Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, sitting down to pause some of the Starfield conversation. Let's get back into the field of Xbox for a little bit. Don't think I forgot, we're still here, ladies and gentlemen. Xbox invited me out to a little hands-on preview event for their next upcoming AAA exclusive, Forza Motorsport. And when you really think about the history of Xbox, a generation of this console doesn't truly feel like it begins until they deliver a Forza Motorsport. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you know me, I'm a racing casual, okay? And I thought that allows me to bring a unique perspective. So I traveled out to the event in New York City. I went hands-on with the game for about 2 hours. Xbox let me capture my own footage, which was really awesome to see. That does show a level of confidence because certainly as time goes on with these preview events, less and less companies are allowing you to do so. So this was a good sign in my opinion. But anyway, I went hands-on with the game, and since I have this very unique perspective of someone with not a ton of knowledge of racing games, I thought, hey, if I walked away having some fun, that is something to communicate and break down as to why, because maybe someone out there may feel the same way as me and be intimidated by Forza Motorsport, only liked Horizon, the very simple, arcadey, open world racing. I'm here to tell you that so far, things are looking good here. I do have one degree of hesitation within me, which I'll break down when we get into the career mode, which I did test out. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, you're into Xbox news, information, conversations, breakdowns, previews, reviews, all that stuff, you're in the right place. Consider subscribing. All right, let's get this party started. So I tested out the career mode. We learned there before we even got to play that there are going to be 20 tracks in the game. That's already been officially announced now. And the big thing that Turn 10 was trying to hammer home to us was that this is a game that's built around car progression and not car collection, which at first is music to my ears, but the skeptic in me thinks about how they also mentioned in the same breath, hey, Forza Motorsport's going to be supported for years, we're starting over, and I'm thinking, oh, progression, live service, and I don't want to totally distrust Turn 10 out the gate, but I just, experiences have burned me many times in the past, so when I hear a focus on progression and then a renewed focus on live service, I worry what that could mean in the end product, because this game reminds me a lot of an RPG. There's a lot of experience gaining and leveling up, which is music to my ears, but still something that I could worry about when it comes to a live service product. So we'll see if any of that comes to fruition. But for now, let's just talk about what I saw during the preview itself, where, like I said, they emphasized car progression. So firing up this career mode, I participated in the Builders Cup. So it was there that I started off by picking between a 2018 Ford Mustang GT, a 2018 Honda Civic Type R, and a 2019 Subaru STI S209. The idea Turn 10 said was like, we don't want to throw you in a Lambo and have you hit the road and skidding all around. We want you to establish a connection with the car. Like, they really want you to get intimate with this piece of metal. It was really fascinating being in a room of complete car junkies, and I'm like, choice and consequence, baby. So it was kind of funny just being totally out of my element. Imagine that. But still, it was fascinating to learn a bit more on what cars and what racing means to this team and how it's something really special to them. And of course, starting that relationship with, your first car. I think of my 2005 Mitsubishi Galant that I grew up with throughout high school that my grandma gifted to me. So I can get behind this idea. Like, start me off with a decent car and let me learn the ways of the road. Now, this isn't like Forza Horizon where you can do easy peel outs. It's very arcadey and accessible. Forza Motorsport, I've never really got into because it's more simulation, more for the hardcore. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and act like I'm going to give you a full-on breakdown of how the rubber meets the road truly, but I'm going to do my best here. So I hit the road. I'm holding down, where's my control? I'm holding down right trigger like my life depends on it. I'm trying to hit the brake last minute and burn around corners. My arcadey brain is not working well with this game. I'm coming in last place. I'm just not very good at Forza Motorsport. And I'm trying to get to the straightaways, and I'm pulling down that right trigger like I'm about to break it because I'm thinking, oh, this is where I can make some catch up here. But as time went on, the game humbles you a bit, and you start to pay attention to the little details. Like, look, I'll expose myself here. Like, I fired up the game, and my first thought was like, where's the music at? Like, this doesn't really have a vibe. And you start hearing your tires skid a little bit when you make a little bit of a wrong turn. And at first I'm not really paying attention to that, but I realized it's like a very important audio cue, because every time I hear my tires start to skid a little bit, I'm losing precious milliseconds off the clock, which is leading to me falling behind in these races. As I kept putting time into Forza Motorsport, I realized it's a game of seconds, and that the races are won not in the straightaways, but on the turns around the corner, where if I can bend in just right, I can actually overtake a couple of people in the race. And I'm so used to the arcadey racers where I'm in first place for 2 laps straight, but this game, it's about like a steady build up. And when I got in 3rd, 4th place, it felt great. I was like, wow, I actually did that. And given the way the game just constantly rewards you, I was feeling really good, even though I wasn't incredible at the game. And has a good measure on progression right now, and making even a complete noob, a complete know-nothing like myself, feel good playing Forza Motorsport, which I view as a major mission accomplished. And even in the early parts of the career mode, I could sort of feel the vision Turn 10 had for sticking with a particular car and seeing how things change. So as someone who was having some trouble going around the turns, or I was thinking to myself, well, let me invest a lot of my currency into handling. And so I beefed up my handling to the point where there was like a cinder block on my steering wheel, and I was hitting corners slow as molasses. It was awful. King David from ILP was behind me watching, laughing at my gameplay. It was a little bit humiliating, but still, this is how you learn that those little upgrades that you just start to think nothing about actually matter. As I put more into speed, but less into handling, now I'm flying around the corner too much. There was a little bit of an obsession starting to build during a preview session, which is weird for me, where I wanted to keep tinkering. Now, did I get into the fine-tuning section, the nitty-gritty that some people can do, like changing your tire compression? Absolutely not. I'm very scared of that menu, but the performance upgrades can be as simple or as in-depth as you want. You can hit the auto upgrade and boom, it's done right there. You can choose what you want to upgrade, which I would actually recommend even as a car noob. When I started going full auto upgrade, that's how I fell into that handling trap. And so it's not always going to put you in the right vehicle that's going to get you the most wins. It's about feeling it out. And that's really what the experience is built off of. Like when I start up a race, I want to get right into it, but the game forces you to do a warm-up race around the track. Feel out the turns, feel out your car. Is everything good? Okay, now you can race, and you can complete challenges while you're doing the warm-up, so it's not like you're wasting time at all. But this is where the game won me over. It's right here in this moment. I talked about races being won on the turns, not the straightaways. It was the moment that I started to pay attention to the little checkpoint system the game had. So you'll see sometimes a timer is going to appear on the bottom point of the screen, marking a particular turn, and you're going to see a number counting, and it may be red or green. And what that means is naturally red bad, green good. Is I may be getting ahead of my previous turn around that corner compared to last time. And the difference may come down to half a second. But if you do that multiple times throughout the race, you're going to save multiple seconds and start pulling ahead of people. It was there I learned just how fine-tuned the experience is in my current early impressions of the game, because if I did not see in real time just how those little seconds count, I wouldn't have ever learned the real ropes of the game. I'd probably still be holding down the right trigger like a complete moron, just really hoping I'd win a race by sheer willpower. I just think this is the game changer kind of mechanic for people like me who can't really connect with Forza Motorsport, but then you see those little increments of progression beyond leveling up, beyond performance upgrades, where you see, ooh, I just want to see if I can hit this turn a little bit quicker than last time. And as long as you're doing that, the game's going to reward you, and you're likely going to start overtaking other racers, and it forces you to get better. That's where I started to notice the audio cues. Like I'm hitting this turn, I hear I'm like, oh boy, yep, and I just lost a little bit of speed there. And so yeah, I'm not going to set a new record on this turn, meaning I'm going to start to fall behind the race. And so yeah, it's just a real back and forth. But there was a moment where it was kind of zen. Like I was able to turn off my head a little bit at one point when I was getting a little more comfortable, and there was just something I can't believe I'm saying, but deeply engaging about the game thus far, where I was already kind of excited for Forza Motorsport just based off the career mode and the more hardcore nature of it, where I could get into Horizon. I had a lot of fun with Horizon, but I really wanted to see, like, what can Motorsport do to pull me in? I'm very excited about the career mode, and I didn't get to see a lot of it, unfortunately. That was like the one disappointing part about the preview opportunity, is I replayed the Builders Cup twice to at least sink more hours into the game, but I didn't get to see beyond that Builders Cup. I got to look around at other cups that you can do and other circuits that you can participate in. We're going to see how bare bones or chock full of content this is, but I'm just hoping that it does deliver, because this was the part of the game that I was most excited for. I like how the game tinkers with difficulty. So when you start up a race, you can actually view a racer list. All these avatars are here. Obviously, they were preset in my demo experience, but you'll be able to see everyone's custom avatars and whatnot and see who you're going up against. And then on top of that, you can scale your difficulty, which I know you could do in other Forza Motorsport games, where you could make things more difficult and get more points. And I like that the game allows you to take the risks you want to take and get aptly rewarded for it. So long as, you know, as a live service game, it's hard to really lend all of my trust, but so long as they can strike that right balance where me as a guy who just wants to hop in, play, and have some fun, as long as they can aptly reward me, where I'm never worrying about, like, do I have to buy something here? I think this is actually going to be a really compelling experience that may sneak up on a couple of not Forza fans. And I think that Forza Horizon from Playground showed people that Forza can be done really well with live service. But of course, this is a whole different ball game. There is that major competition between Forza Motorsport and Gran Turismo. It's like your Xbox and PlayStation racing games going head to head. So I know there's a lot of pressure on Turn 10 to deliver here, especially because of all of the delays. This game was expected far earlier, and so now it's finally here. In the terms of performance, like I said, it ran really well. No hiccups, no hitches, all on Series X performance mode. I have to say, visually it looks beautiful. Particularly, this is the first game I can say in the modern age that looked really good at night. Like, we've seen some Neon Cities and whatnot, where I think a Cyberpunk is a fun game at night. There are moments games look good at night, but this game looks amazing at night. I've never seen anything quite like it. I was so impressed on a visual level, and you know me, I'm more of an art style guy. Fidelity only goes so far for me. I live in the real world 24/7. I want to escape to something artsy fartsy and different. You know how I roll. Yeah, but seriously, it was a good looking game. I mean, that should come as no surprise, but it did impress me on a visual level, which I think is saying something, because I usually kind of shrug my shoulders at that. Not to dismiss the hard work that goes into it, but I care more about the gameplay and the experience, but that was also good. So going into launch right now with Forza Motorsport, feeling pretty confident in what Turn 10 is going to deliver. I didn't have a lot of concern in the first place. I think it really does come down to the live service and the progression elements being good. I'm not sure in the terms of the Forza community how we're feeling about 20 maps, if that's enough or not enough at all. We'll see in due time. Of course, I'm going to analyze that scuttlebutt. But yeah, this is my very casual breakdown, if you will, of my time with Forza Motorsport. I grew up playing things like Burnout, so this is, again, very much out of my wheelhouse. Anytime I played a game with a car, I'd be like, I want to play a game in a car where I can get out of a car, and that would be like GTA. So yeah, my casual brain does usually not compute with these games, so the fact that I've walked away with some positive impressions here and actually legitimate anticipation, even though October is very busy, is a good time. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts on what I've said about Forza Motorsport? Are you excited, whether you're an RPG fan or a racing fan? I'm very much looking forward to hearing what you have to say about the game. With that, fire away and take great care of yourselves. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the heck out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.